Now, I promise this is the last part, just some points to wrap up on about Midnight in Salem and Her Interactive generally. So, thanks for watching.
Look, here's an idea. When I think of the Salem witch trials, I go straight to The Crucible by Arthur Miller. Mainly because I had to read it for honors English, but also because it is like a surprisingly pertinent work that really stands the test of time. The idea behind The Crucible is that the Salem witch trials were reminiscent of the communism scare of the 1950s, which mainly involved Senator Joseph McCarthy trying to root out communism in American culture by questioning and then punishing they blacklisted people, they imprisoned people. They did what they could. They just went after anyone they deemed to be communist sympathizers, which was a very broad category that included whatever the heck McCarthy wanted. If you didn't cooperate, then you were part of the problem, and you got punished as well. It was a time where the law was made up and the evidence didn't matter. Which you would think, that we would have learned something from, witch trials and stuff. But no. I mean, even then, the goal was to scare people, destroy any opposition, and effectively blame an unknown force for problems that were already rooted in American culture. And not... Maybe you think well, now we've learned something, right? That can't happen again. And yet it looks like that's exactly what we keep doing all the frickin' time. I mean, just look at social media witch hunt culture. It's so easy to put out information, including false information, just into the ether and have it spread, and then people feel compelled to hate things or pick a side and just ruin people's lives over what is usually trivial stuff. I mean, sometimes it's not, but there's a lot of times it is. We reward people for accusing others of bad deeds, and we want to see those people get hurt. And there's really no opportunity to stop and find evidence or proof. It's really just a matter of wanting to see people fail because we feel better about ourselves. It's easier to blame one person for all our social ills than actually fix those social ills. Now, just imagine if this game had taken those themes to heart and actually put them into practice to come up with a plot that maybe we could have actually related to. And I'm not going to say Her Interactive didn't try, because I believe they did. But here's the game's idea of bringing witch hunt culture into the 21st century. Basically, the town of Salem blames this one chick for the house fire because she burned something down when she was 9. It makes the town of Salem seem literally insane. And maybe they are, because ergot or something like that. But it is such a bad example. Even if May had been 16 or something when she started a fire, it would have been a little more pertinent. But instead, they're blaming... They think that, this girl is the only possible suspect. It's supposed to defy logic, but it defies, everything. It's just so unrealistic.
Yep, I'm insane.
To make a long story short, I would describe the plot of this game as missed opportunity. There were interesting parts to it, and those interesting parts didn't last particularly long. And at the end of the day, the way the mystery resolved just didn't feel it didn't feel like you did anything to get there. everything just kind of fell into our laps at the right moment. Sure, it was easy to guess who did it. It just didn't feel like they needed Nancy Drew to complete this. Really, the only reason we were here is because the cops in Salem were so stupid that they literally just thought it was one person without getting any evidence at all about anything. Ever. And even then, once again, the crime that Nancy was in town for was not even committed by the bad guy. About the only Nancy Drew thing about this game was the fact that a dead person set up a puzzle, and that was for the will. Nancy didn't even solve that puzzle, by the way. Deirdre and the Hardy Boys do. And that puzzle was terrible, by the way. That's all I'm gonna say. You know, one of the things that's come up in this whole Midnight in Salem saga is, for a while, like, it used to be just funny, honestly, to just kind of like take a few jabs at Her Interactive and its complete lack of transparency. Because you could basically say whatever you want, and Her Interactive literally responded with nothing for the longest time. And then they finally put something together. And I mean, it wasn't necessarily them. To be honest, I don't even know anymore of who is responsible for actually making this game. Because even in the title sequence, it mainly credits, Mapumi. There's another game company, and it's weird because it's not a game company that I would expect to be working on a Nancy Drew game. They help make the Hitman games. It just doesn't match up for me. So, were they the ones that did all the coding and the like the actual game mechanics? Did Her Interactive write the plot? Well, I don't know what their relationship was like, but we got this. And especially now that we do have this game, I mean, the criticism has only gone up, hasn't it? It's been a lot of people that I think knew that they were going to be disappointed, hoped for more, and then were nevertheless disappointed. I guess there are some people out there that like this game. I don't really know what to say to that. I guess I would recommend, like, watch Paint Dry Simulator 2019 or something to you. You baffle me. That's all I got. But since there has been a lot of criticism, there's also been quite a bit of defense from people on Her Interactive side, which it's interesting. I mean, I get it. Her Interactive is basically nobody now. It's just it's an incredibly small company in Washington. The fact that they put together like 32 plus 2 Dossier games that were consistently high quality and consistently fun, it kind of makes them, I'm gonna use the word enigma, but I'm not sure that's right. It makes them unique. They've done a lot with very little, and now that they've done very little with very little, people aren't happy. But there is also a very vocal minority that is like adamant that we're not allowed to criticize Her Interactive. Like, they put out this product for us, how dare you be unhappy with it? It's just a small company. Yeah, you're not allowed to criticize small companies and the work that they do. Look, you are more than free to not like this game, and to not like Her Interactive for just the way that they have handled the entire release process. I mean, think about it. We had a trailer come out after pre-orders for this game. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. You are very much in the right to feel betrayed and hurt and disappointed with this company and this product. Hey, you're free to like it too. I I don't understand where you're coming from, but you do you, okay? But if you're the type of person that's gonna sit here and tell me that I'm not allowed to say bad stuff about Her Interactive, let me tell you something. Her Interactive is a corporation, okay? People work at it, but Her Interactive isn't a real person. It doesn't have feelings. It does not care about you or anything else. It has no soul. I have seen no one at any point go after any employees of Her Interactive except maybe the one at the top. You know who that is, and there might be an exception there. I'm not going to get into that part. I think we all know that they've done all they really could with what they had. It really came down to the plan that they had was ambitious, and it was a bumpy road. But look, I don't care if people hate Her Interactive after this, okay? Because you know what? That doesn't hurt anybody. No one is hurt if you don't like her. But seriously, like, hating people that hate her, I don't get that. Just because you like having a stick shoved so far up your ass that it comes out your mouth doesn't mean that you should be up in arms that people don't want to be screwed the same way. It's okay to feel screwed after this. It was kind of inevitable. It's weird to make people feel like that was exactly what was supposed to happen. I mean, think about it. Let's say you pay someone to watch your dog while you're out on vacation. You come back and you find a dead dog. If you wanted to go tell people not to hire this someone to watch their pets, and you got a response that was, "You're not allowed to complain. Why are you such a whiner? This was clearly your fault for trusting in that person." That kind of happens here too, okay? It's stupid. And it's funny, like, I do feel a little bad for for doing all this and spending so much time talking about how this game and Her Interactive aren't that great, considering that I did get a free copy of this game. And yet, one, there was no effort on the part of Her Interactive to check at all the product that I've made in terms of Nancy Drew, because let's face it, I make fun of Nancy Drew. It's hilarious. These games are just, they are fun to make fun of. And two, they did not tell me that I couldn't say bad things about the game, which you would think would be straightforward, right? But it feels like there were attempts to make this work out. But there was just not enough effort put into the planning itself. That sums up this entire experience. The game itself, all 4.5 years of dead air, all of that, everything in between. Look, let me tell you a quick story. During the Salem witch trials, if you were accused as a witch, you basically had two options. One, you could confess, which meant that you went to prison for a long time, you got out, but the state took all of your possessions. So you were just left to your own devices. Two, you could say you were not guilty, in which case you were hanged. I am not aware that anyone who was accused as a witch got out scot-free, unless, besides the people who were accused, and then the witch trials ended, everyone realized what a disaster it was. But there was a third option. That option was taken by one human being named Giles Corey. He didn't plea anything. So, the people running the witch trials came up with what was effectively a torture method to try to force him to plead something. It's called pressing. This does come up in the game, although briefly and not in graphic detail. This is literally the only time in the history of the United States that pressing was ever used. What happens is you basically cover the individual in just like a giant flat piece of wood or something, and you stack rocks on top of them. One by one by one. Until one of two things happens. One, they give in, or two, they are crushed to death. Giles Corey, I'll admit there are various accounts of exactly what Giles Corey said in response to this, but one of them I think is just the most, I don't know how to describe it, the most impactful. Supposedly, the only thing that he would respond with was more weight. Giles Corey was killed, along with 19 other people in the Salem witch trials. And I think that's my response. I'm not done with this. I'm not done with Her Interactive. But I'm not just gonna give up and throw in the towel and say, yep, we're good. This is Her Interactive now. There's a middle of the road. I hope they improve. I do. But if they just keep sending more crap, I'm okay. Send more crap. I am happy to go through, talk about it for hours, play it for hours, until someone gets the message. Thanks for watching.
Really?
Give me a sec. I'm recording this for the purposes of the review because look, that is 3 company names. Look at the people who made this game.
The final story. That means there was a story before that people wrote.
I don't know.
Get to be in the credits.
Who is Mapumi Games? Why have they? I have never heard their name before in my life, even though we've seen their work, I suppose.
It takes 2 to do this, I guess.
There was a 3rd company, Allie. It was Toy Box. Toy Box Productions.
It takes 3 to do this.
Do you have any idea how ridiculous that sounds? Yes, you do. That is just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
There it is. I'm sorry. Entertainment.
Here we go.
Like, who are these people?
Literally, Barry Sampson is the entire company. If you do not see,
and then there's Chanel Sampson and Grace Sampson.
Hey, look, Grace Sampson. It's a family.
Who the hell is Lynx Agency? Who the hell is Saigon Dragon Studios? Who are these people? Did they hire? I mean, is this translation
Madrid.
work? Or is this
Secret Six Madrid?
Is this for translation, or were they using sweatshops? That is the question.
I mean, honestly,
was this game passed between like 1,000 different people? Version lands. Who are they?
Oh my god.
What? Why is this list so long? Particle Beam. Another list.
There's more.
Arcs Anima. Who are these people? Hang on. Are we done?
I'm crying.
Did you even?
Oh my god.
Speech graphic. Did you even notice how short the Her Interactive list was? It was gone in like 2 seconds.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, thanks, Barry Sampson. You're on top of things.
And there's more. Wait, there's more.
Dynamedian. Mark Grau Recording Studios. Clatter and Din has actually been a company that Her Interactive has used, I believe.
Okay, so something.
Oh my gosh, they got some people to come back for this game.
Jonah Von Spreeken. It's Jonah Von Spreeken.
Swear.
What an iconic name. Probably like.
Oh, Ghost of Abigail. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? No.
I wish I were a ghost.
Quantic Lab? What? Why does this come after the list of voice actors?
They didn't do much, apparently.
How hurt like TagWiz?
They didn't test enough.
What is TagWiz? What do you mean initial her interactive game development team?
I love how there's.
You are kidding me!
Initial.
You're telling me all these people got fired!
Left. Everyone left.
External testers. How short is this list?
So if nothing works, we blame that entire list of people.
Particularly Michael.
Oh wait, there's more. There are so many people here.
Why? So 2 different companies sent 2 different.
The fonts.
I am.
Appreciate the fonts. Look at this elementary Gothic. Look at all these Google fonts that we can appreciate here. There's more Google fonts here than there are, like, I don't know, actual developers.
That might be true.
Images. Look, the Library of Congress sponsors this.
No, they didn't. No, they don't. I guess Oscar was born during this game. What a shame. Anyway. I'm glad he's alive, but for F's sakes. Well,
I mean, it took what, 3 years?
4.5.
4.5. So I mean, it makes sense.
Oh my gosh. I just had to get some footage of that for the review. This is amazing. I'm so